DJ Akademiks says the rap game is cooked. It's done. Wow. Let's talk about it. This is Fresh Hip-Hop Opinion with your guy Oleezeh. Don't forget to subscribe. So yes, DJ Akademiks, like I said, has said the rap game is cooked. That's why a lot of rappers are now becoming podcasters. This comes after the latest bunch of rappers have announced they're joining the podcast team, the podcast industry. Jim Jones, Mano, Fabulous, and Dave East. They've come together for the podcast called Let's Rap About It. I guess the veteran rappers like the mic, but not on the stage. They want to sit down and chill like men in their 50s. But DJ Akademiks said this: rap game is completely cooked. Ain't no money in music. If he told me they were together, I'd be like, oh my God, they're making some four-way greatest New York rapper thing. But bruh, there's no more money in music. Unless you're young boy, unless you're like the Drakes. There's no money for the middle order guys. It's complete famine. Akademiks went on to say this: rap is done. Most y'all make y'all money on tour. These days rappers are in a weird place. And he even suggested that some artists have returned to street hustling to maintain their lifestyles. Now don't say no names, Akademiks. Now that would be snitching. Is Akademiks correct with what he's saying? And just to clarify, he was not dissing Jim Jones, Dave East, Fabulous, or Mano. Rather just stating what he believes are facts. But if you look at the list of rappers have become podcasters and making a success from it, you got Cam and Mace. It is what it is, signing multi-dollar deals. You could arguably say the biggest podcasters out there in terms of former rappers, and they're not even doing hip-hop. It's just sports. You got veterans like Nori, who probably is arguably the number one, the Drink Champs, going on for years. Big guests, viral moments, classic episodes. Another one veering for that number one spot, most probably people will say he is number one, is Joe Budden. The Joe Budden podcast been going on probably the longest. Joe was doing it way before it was even popular, with Rory and Mal. Now he's got a whole new cast. Not maybe having massive viral moments, but everybody does pay attention to when Joe Budden speaks about different topics in hip-hop. You got Gilly and Wallow. Their ones are more interview-based, but definitely like top 5 hip-hop podcasts out. They're a mainstay in terms of the podcast world. Probably the latest one that's doing very well is the Fat Joe and Jadakiss podcast, with Fat Joe's elaborate stories and Jadakiss kind of laughing and waving the white flag when he's thinking Joey Crack is capping. They got a good dynamic and have forced themselves in the reckoning in terms of big hip-hop podcasters. Even someone like Memphis Bleak, who really didn't have the biggest rap career, he's entered the podcasting world. And in my opinion, he's a very good interviewer. I've seen the episode with him and Cameron, and he didn't even seem to have any notes with him. He was just going off the cuff. Off the dome. So now you got Mano, who already had a taste of like podcast world with Angela Yee. Whether he's still doing that, I don't know. And we see Mano on DJ Vlad quite a bit, so we know he can talk. Jim Jones, I think, will be an interesting watch. He goes viral without even trying. But that's by himself. When he's got other people there to interact with him, that will be an interesting dynamic to look out for. He's probably the one I'm looking forward to hearing from the most. Dave East, this will be good for his career. I'm not saying he's a little boy in the rap game, but he never really hit the proper heights that he could have. He was never like the number one rapper, for example, or even in that conversation. So this will be cool to see more of his personality, his views on hip-hop. Plus, he's a lot younger than the other three. And then Fab, one of the most underrated rappers of all time. Hopefully he hasn't dropped his pen forever. But he's someone that doesn't do too many interviews. I've never really seen him have the most explosive or most interesting interviews as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what his views on different things are and seeing a different side of his personality that we've not seen before. Because on a podcast, you really can't hide behind just being cool. But in terms of what Akademiks was saying, we all know Drake's getting money from this rap game. He's been touring non-stop. We know Young Boy's getting money. And you probably could add a few more rappers on that list that are really getting the bag from just music, because they command the attention from the public. And if you are a veteran rapper, like Akademiks said, maybe the time in terms of renting a studio, recording the music, putting it out, the promo, you might get, who knows, 70 G's. But when you're talking about podcasting, they're getting multi-million-dollar deals, or definitely hundreds of thousands, just to talk and chill. You ain't got to get on stage and be sweating like a pig. So I can see why the veterans especially don't want to be jumping around on stage in their 50s, so that they can sit down and just chat like good old chatty patties. And hip hop's a young man's game anyway. I don't think you really want to be speaking about jewelry and money and all sorts of misogynist talk when you're in your 50s, when you got potential adult kids and even maybe grandkids. You gotta save that ignorant talk for the youngsters. Unless hip hop can actually grow up and speak a bit more mature themes, speak about investing and all that sort of things, then you can have a rapper in their 50s still rapping. But are you guys looking forward to this new podcast, Let's Rap About It? I'm gonna check it out. I think the way they've got these rappers, all from New York as well, it makes a lot of sense. It's gonna be a kind of New York kind of bias podcast. That's what I can imagine. I'm sure they'll try and stay balanced, but they're all similar sorts of age, except for Davey, he's a bit younger. And we've already seen Jim Jones and Mano do music together. You could tell they're good friends. So their dynamic or chemistry will be easy to be seen or heard. They'll have the banter, they'll have the conversations that people will be interested in. Then in terms of Dave East and Fabulous, I don't know. Those two for me are a bit more of a mysterious way of how they're gonna come off on a podcast. I think Dave East is a good talker. I've heard him a few times over the years. But Fabulous, like I said, I've seen him in a few interviews in his career, and it's never been the most exciting stuff. But you know what? He might not be the most exciting when you hear him, but he might have good, insightful things to say in terms of his opinions. But yeah, Akademiks says the rap game is cooked. Rappers are going to podcasting to make money, feed their kids, feed themselves, save themselves from being on the streets. And he's not dissing any rappers. Let me just clarify that. But could this be the end of veteran rappers even going into their 50s anymore? Instead of doing what they know for the last 20 years, they're going into podcasting. Do you think this is the future of hip hop? Unlike rock and roll and pop music where you have entertainers still singing to their 60s and 70s at times, could this be the end and rappers are ending at 50? Or rappers are ending at 45? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And for just a few dollars a month, you can support the channel. Exclusive content just for you. This is Fresh Hip Hop Opinion. Peace and love.